time on Casino Royale with cheese.
Well, one tip I will give you for this next week, Shane, you need to be watching your office because next Saturday is the Office Trivia night at that bar.
Well, Mike, that's kind of an unfortunate ordeal that happened with that. As it turns out, my daughter has a ballet performance that night, and so they kind of like torpedo the whole fucking thing. So I already told everybody but you, I think, that's out.
I was just telling Nicole how excited I was. I finally get a day out with the guys. And you're telling me we're going to a fucking 4-year-old's ballet recital?
I mean, you don't have to go, bro. But
do they serve booze there? You should definitely told me this off air.
And now, the conclusion.
Houston, we have a problem.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Silent Green is people!
Yo, Adrian!
Let's put a smile on that face.
I gotta warn you, Clark. They don't play the same games here as they do at them regular casinos.
Royale too. You gonna eat your cornbread?
Coming at you live from a prison cell in Camp 8, Mississippi State Penitentiary, it's Casino Royale with cheese. And now for your host, a frequent customer of Ray's Boom Boom Room, Jingling Jingling.
Hey, thank you, everybody. This is Casino Royale with Cheese, the internet show where we discuss movies that were #1 at the box office exactly 20 years ago. My name is Shane, and today we're talking about Life, starring Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. How's it going, Mike?
It's going awesome, bro. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, bro. Just sitting here on a dreary Saturday, man.
Nice to see you in person.
Yeah, we're recording in person today, which is kind of nice.
It's always preferred.
It is, definitely. It's actually been a while. Well, we're recording in your bathroom recently, I think. That's Mike's designated recording
studio.
spot. Yeah, we got a little bit of room so that we can itch ourselves out a little corner here in my house, though, so that works. What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot. Game of Thrones premieres tomorrow night.
Game of Thrones, there you go.
Super pumped.
Mike's been looking forward to this.
Nicole and I watched 7 seasons in 2.5 weeks.
That's pretty expedient.
67-hour-long episodes.
Yeah?
It's getting it in. And we didn't watch on the weekends much.
Right. Yeah, you had company and stuff.
Yeah.
What's crazy about that to me is that me and the wife, so we actually, I guess, spoiler for what we watched this week, we actually finished the Michael Jackson documentary.
Leaving Neverland?
Yeah. Squeezed a 4-hour documentary into like 2.5 weeks. You know? That sort of thing. Not a whole lot of time to sit and chill, unfortunately.
You have a baby.
Yeah, we have a baby. I've been working a lot. But, you know, I hear my family's nice. So maybe I'll see him one of these days.
Yeah. Or you can spend your family time up here recording with me.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Yeah.
You bet. Life we're talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
Eddie Murphy. Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence. Should be, on paper, a comedic, you know.
Yeah.
One, I don't know, treasure chest, I guess.
You would imagine. I mean, not only does it have Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, it also has a slew of other famous comedians.
Our second, you remember Bokeem Woodbine, of course, from, what was that one? That really stupid movie that you thought you
Oh,
like
yeah.
and,
I know what you're talking about. Man, with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
What is that called?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It had like Lou Diamond Phillips and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
The Big Bang.
The Big...
No.
It wasn't the Big Bang.
The Big...
Was the Big...
Was it The Big
Job?
Job? No.
No. big something. But I remember it was like right around He Got Game, you know, that we did that when the big hit.
The big hit,
That's
there it
what
was,
it was,
yeah.
So he shows up here in a substantially
lines.
smaller part, he doesn't work up his hand to get his
Straight
hamstring,
jacking, bro.
yeah, so he can masturbate himself.
Yeah.
So, although this character does strike me as maybe a little bit slow, so I could see him playing with himself a lot.
Okay.
You know, so just one of those things.
We also have Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac, back when
Jingling,
he was
jingling.
alive. Yeah,
Jingling.
his character I thought was kind of weird.
I love his character in this movie.
It's pretty weird.
It's what he's funny though.
Yeah, Bernie Mac's a funny guy.
He's hilarious.
in
Well, he
general.
was.
So yeah, he was.
R.I.P. Bernie.
Yep. Let's see who else we got in here going. I took some screenshots of some different Pizzos.
Okay.
We mentioned Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. Nick Cassavetes plays the Sergeant Dillard.
Okay.
I've seen Nick Cassavetes in a bunch of stuff, along with Anthony Anderson, who's Cookie, the guy with the gap teeth, big dude, all that stuff. Yeah. Barry Shabaka Henley plays Poker Face, the old guy.
Oh.
I've seen him in some other stuff. Couldn't tell you what though, offhand. And Miguel Nunez Jr. plays Biscuit, the guy that took off toward the fence and the guard wound up shooting him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually remember back in the day whenever you remember the WB before it
Sure.
merged and became the CW.
Yeah.
The WB had a TV show that starred him, and I don't remember what the name was, but he was the star in it, and that's where I got my first exposure to like Jamie Foxx, because there was the Jamie Foxx show on there and stuff, you know.
Right.
So yeah, he was not as famous back then, but
Who, Jamie Foxx?
yeah. But so that's good stuff. The other guys, there really weren't that many people that I was super familiar with in this movie.
Well, there's the guy. He's got his. He stars in that show Blackish now.
Oh, see, I haven't watched that. I heard it was funny, actually.
He was the cook in the movie.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Let's see here what we've got budgetarily. Movie was made on a budget of $80 million.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of up there, man.
Well, that's what you get when you have Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy at the peak of their careers.
Right. Well, plus you're making, set specific era stuff. It's a timepiece sort of movie. Back in 1932, a lot of it takes place. So you got to make all the sets and get all the cars, and all the costumes and all that other shit.
Anthony Anderson, the guy who plays Cookie, he's the star of Blackish.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. Do you dare to guess how well this thing did in the U.S. and how many weeks it was number one and all that other stuff, Mike?
I'm going to say it was 1 week.
It was 1 week.
Okay.
That is correct, sir.
I'm going to say for 1 week it made $60 million.
Dude, you're super close. In the U.S., it brought in a total of $63,886,029. So you're within $3 million.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
not bad.
Yeah, you're back on top, buddy. It altogether worldwide brought in a total of $73 million. So it didn't even make back its production budget, unfortunately.
Oh, that's called a flop, my friend.
Yeah, this thing's a big old goose egg, bro.
Man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll get to that, I suppose, because I have a feeling you probably like this movie a bit better than I did.
Well, regardless if I like the movie or not, I like the actors in it.
Yeah, of course.
And if you're gonna make a movie in Hollywood, it's really bad if you don't make your money back.
Right.
At a minimum, you want to break even.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, that's kind of a deal there. Even if you break even with your production budget, you probably still lost money.
Probably still lost
So,
money for
yeah.
sure, but man, to not even make your production budget back.
That does suck.
It's a heartbreaker.
Quite a bit, yeah. Let's do a summary real quick.
Let's do that.
Life, released April 16th, 1999. The tale of two prisoners' lives intersecting during a prison sentence is directed by Ted Demme, who directed the film Blow, then promptly overdosed on cocaine. Yes, that's true.
Wow.
It really did happen. He was playing basketball and I guess had a heart attack.
Wow.
So, yeah. A prisoner is overseeing the burial of two fellow inmates and begins to describe the friendship of the inmates to the men doing the burying. He discusses how the two men, Ray and Claude, met in 1932, both owing money to a local mob boss, Spanky. The two, in exchange for their debts being expunged, offer to do some bootlegging. After a local cop won Claude's father's watch in a card game, he soon seizes an opportunity to kill Spanky, resulting with Ray and Claude being pinned with the murder charge. The two are promptly charged with a life sentence in Mississippi State Penitentiary and perform hard labor. They meet a cavalcade of new acquaintances: Biscuit, Jangle Leg, Radio, Goldmouth, Cookie, and Pokerface. When not performing hard labor, the inmates occupy their time with baseball games, cookouts, and their personal favorite pastime, attempted prison escapes. The two come close to an escape at one point, but are stranded in solitary confinement upon their retrieval. In 1972, Claude and Ray find themselves 65 years old. All their inmate friends have either been released from prison or from their lives, and they are sent to work for Superintendent Dexter Wilkins, who has acquaintances with Sheriff Warren Pike, the man who won Claude's watch and killed Spanky. Superintendent Wilkins finds out Claude and Ray are innocent, but dies before he can exonerate the duo. The film finds itself in 1997, with Ray and Claude now at age 90. The two stay in the prison infirmary, which one night catches fire. It is soon revealed that the infirmary fire was intentional in an attempt for Ray and Claude to stage their own deaths. The film concludes with them attending a New York Yankees baseball game. This film stars Gina's husband and Professor Clump.
Good job, Shane.
Yes, thank you. I cut out some subplot stuff, but I didn't find a whole lot of it super interesting. That's the real meat of the thing.
Yeah, and the subplot stuff didn't drive the story at all.
Not at all. It was more of a caveat,
Yeah.
In fact, I found myself in places really thinking, like, I wish this thing would hurry the fuck up. Get to the fucking point, So, I mean, there's the whole thing about the guy that hits baseballs, Bokeem Woodbine's character.
Yeah.
And that never really factors in all that much. I mean, they didn't get out of prison before, and they still weren't in prison by the end, or they were still in prison by the end of it, so it didn't matter really to the plot.
Actually, at the end of it, they were out of prison.
Well, yeah, but even excising that part of the movie, it wouldn't have mattered.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, he also knocked up the warden's daughter, so.
He did. Once again, doesn't really factor all that much into the movie. Pretty much anything that the other inmates are doing doesn't really ever factor into the movie. There's a couple prison escapes, but
I wish there would have been more of those.
Yeah, I kind of agree. If that was the whole point of this movie, was kind of a comedy where it's just guys that are failing to escape from prison, that could be really funny, actually.
Yeah,
I
and
can see that.
The escape bits were pretty funny.
Yeah, a lot of them really were.
He crashed a fucking plane.
Right. I didn't think that this film in general, though, was terribly funny, unfortunately. I would have thought it would have been really humorous with these two at the lead, but...
I definitely got my laughs out of the movie. I had some laughs in there, but I really feel like the material doesn't lend itself to much humor.
I think there's some tonal problems with this movie.
I mean, we're talking about 1932 is when this starts, and black men in prison on a chain gang.
Yes.
I mean, this is
pretty dark stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real dark part of this country's history. So it's really hard to... two guys, by the way, who are wrongly convicted just because they're black men.
Right. They happen to be there.
Right. So that's a hard thing to laugh at.
Well, I agree. And then there's the scene where they go into the diner and they're like, there's no colors in here, and all this other crap. They're trying to play that scene up for laughs, and I'm just like, I don't think this is that funny.
Well, not when
it's pretty bad.
The white folks at the diner are holding a shotgun and dropping the M-bomb with a hard R. It's not good.
Hard R, dude.
Yeah,
it burns the ears.
It's not good.
No.
But this movie was a little ahead of its time, I would say.
I think it was. I think it's probably, considering race relations in the U.S. in the current state that they are, I tend to think that this has probably more significance now than it did back then. There seems to be a lot more civil unrest nowadays.
Right. In the late 90s, and I can't speak for black Americans, obviously.
Right. I mean, we had Rodney King, and, there was still shit going down. But
it felt like we were on the upswing.
Right.
And now it feels like we kind of made a turn for the worst.
It's pretty much been fucking busted.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah.
So maybe that's why it impacted us the way it did. Because
I'm not going to speculate as to the cause or anything. That's not the point.
No, not the point.
You know, yeah.
We're just talking about like culturally in America today.
Of course.
Yeah. And maybe that's why it was hard for us to laugh, because we're currently dealing with such strife out there.
Well, and you think about it, you know, there's certain stuff like, go back and watch like Blazing Saddles, for example. It's just overtly racist, but then you watch it under the guise of today, and you're like, this isn't that funny.
No.
Really. Yeah, like, a lot of people are really pissed off right now.
Yeah, if you watch it today, it feels like it's in poor taste.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And that's what I think it is, you know, is back in the day. It was one of those that I don't feel like the N-word had the same effect back then that it does nowadays. It's a word I generally try to stay away from regardless, but it's a deal where, you know, back in the day, if somebody said it, it's whatever, but now it troubles me to hear it, you know.
Well, I was in high school not too long before this movie premiered. I graduated in 97. Right. So, and, you know, and I was fortunate enough to have a rainbow coloring of friends in high school. The part of the country I grew up in Southern California, we didn't, at least personally, I didn't see what might have been going on in the rest of the country. Like, we all kind of just got along pretty well.
Sure.
And, I mean, yeah, there was microbursts of racial tension and stuff like that, but for the most part, everybody got along.
It wasn't on the tip of everybody's tongue at the time, or, you know.
No, but I had a friend then who explained to me who can use the N-word and who can't and why and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just took it as the law, as he put it to me, and that's the way I've stuck with it my whole life.
I bet we just not say it.
Yeah. So I just don't. Even in songs,
right?
If you listen to some DMX songs where he drops the N-word a lot, and I will substitute like my dudes.
Right. Well, it's funny. I'll be sitting in the car by myself and still do it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna offend anybody. But, you know, yeah, I just don't want to say it. So, I wrote down the diner pie scene was uncomfortable and not funny.
One of the things I kind of appreciated about this movie was the soundtrack.
It didn't really stand out to me that much. I don't think.
It kind of colored some of the scenes though, and it was all by Wyclef Jean of the Fugees.
Oh yeah. I did notice some of that. Yeah, it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. What I remember of it. 2 weeks pay is $22.
Well, we're talking about Harlem 1932.
Harlem 1932. It probably wasn't even that bad.
He was gonna be killed for owing a dude $50.
Yeah. They were about to fucking pinch that ass.
I currently have $1,100 on loans out to people I know. And I could actually probably add more. The honest answer is probably more like $3,000.
Right.
But I've accepted I'm not going to see a good portion of that ever.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
You know? We'll be sitting here during the week, and the wife's like, hey, try not to spend any money. We got like $150 before Friday. This dude was way more fucked than that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty bad. He's pretty screwed.
The whole movie kind of starts off because these two fellers run into each other. Actually, Eddie Murphy's character pickpockets Martin Lawrence's character.
Right.
And
who doesn't have any money anyway because these two thugs took it all.
Yeah, I don't understand. They took about half of what he owes, and they still snatch him up.
Yeah. That's a good earnest money payment right there, I think. You know, like, that's damn near half.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying let's forget the rest. But, you know.
Step in the right direction.
Yeah.
He starts his new job on Monday.
We're getting some stuff going, you know.
He's working at a bank.
Right.
We could probably get more.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. You know, there's a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. Probably get it knocked out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And the movie is toned a lot with a lot of racial issues.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes they play it for laughs and sometimes they don't, which I find interesting and maybe not necessarily in a good way either. Because, you know, at times, it's almost like the whole prison thing. They want to act like prison's this horrible place. And then, like, it shows them and they're, like, chilling, you know, and playing baseball and they're having barbecue.
Yeah, so let's talk about prison in this movie.
But, yeah, go ahead.
So the prison in this movie, like, obviously, it sucks.
Yeah, it does.
You're in jail.
Right.
But They look like they're having a pretty fucking good time.
Yeah, there's a lot of downtime for as much manual labor as they're supposedly doing.
And even the sergeant that's like in charge of them or whatever, he lets them get away with a lot.
Yeah, he was pretty much buds with them, toward the end there.
If you just gave him a small, bribe, he'd let you have conjugal visits.
Hell yeah. Married today.
Yep. They played baseball all the time.
Right.
They're
cooking outdoors.
Yeah, they
which
had
is
cookouts.
Cool. Yeah.
In one part, after they won like a big championship game, he let them like bring girls and shit into the prison.
Yeah.
They're having like a big party.
Right.
Drinking.
I know people in jail and they don't have it that good.
No.
So, once again, we got back-breaking labor, and this is 1932, so air conditioning's out and showers are scarce.
And you're still in prison.
Right.
Which
it does
bad.
suck, but it could have been worse.
And then Chain Gang, I feel like they kind of made light of what it was probably like to be on a chain gang.
I'm kind of thinking that's what happened too.
Because I'm betting back in those days, if you were a black man on a chain gang and you weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing, you probably got some whoopings.
Do you think that this would classify as whitewashing, possibly?
They definitely didn't. I don't think this. The problem,
Like
I think,
the white guard's like super cool, and they go to work for the superintendent, and he's super cool with them. There's only one real bad white dude. I mean, there's other like non-essential characters, like the people at the restaurant and stuff like that. But the people that are running the show here are all super cool with these guys.
And I think that's the problem you probably had with this movie.
It could be.
Like, it couldn't figure out what it wanted to be.
Right.
Are we going to be a comedy?
Right.
Or are we going to talk about some serious racial issues?
Yes, I agree. Because I'm down for both.
Yeah. This could have been a hardcore drama that really pulled at your heartstrings.
Right.
Or this could have been oh my God, my side hurts. I've been laughing so hard.
And the fact that you have Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, and the fact that it wasn't, is really kind of a travesty. That should be illegal.
Yeah, and this
thing should be really funny.
Eddie Murphy, I will say, though, Eddie Murphy was more of his old self in this movie than he was in, like, the Doolittle and all that shit.
Yeah, it did harken back to his glory days back, before, like you were talking about, the clumps and Nutty Professors and shit and
Doolittle,
Haunted Mansion, fucking
Yeah.
Dr. Doolittle. Oh man, that fucking turd.
I bet you he got paid though
For this?
for all those other movies
Oh yeah,
because they were all franchises.
he was a big fucking.
He did
deal.
multiples of those movies.
Yeah, he did 2 Dr. Doolittles. He did 2 Clumps.
2 Nutty
2
Professors.
Nutty, yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Is Clump Nutty Professor?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he probably fucking made some money, and then like Shrek knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
They did, how many? They done like 9 of those or something crazy.
Oh no, they've only done 4, I think. But
feels
they have
like
all those stupid Shrek, haunted Halloween tales, and
Shrek's
Shrek
Christmas special.
Yeah.
He's on all those.
Shrek Saves Christmas, yeah. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he ain't doing nothing, and what's his name? Mike Myers, he ain't doing shit.
Nope, but he's getting ready to make a new Austin Powers.
That's what you said. I'll believe it when I see it. How's that sound?
I think there's
Although I also said that about Bill and Ted.
there's a new Bill and Ted coming.
Yeah.
I think Bad Boys said they're coming back.
Yep, Bad Boys for Life.
You gotta love that title.
Yeah.
I
That's
hope
not
that
bad.
sticks to it. I hope
Yeah.
it earns that title.
Right.
Bad Boys for
I
Life.
agree. Bad Boys is one of those franchises where I actually like the second one. It's pretty much right up there at the first one.
Oh, both
for
of them
me.
are great.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both pretty good. And I think, honestly, that
Which one's Tia Leone in? The first one?
I think it's the first one.
Oh, man.
I will say that I think that movie deal, if Michael Bay was to stick with something like that these are 2 really good actors, and we got a pretty good story going, and now we can blow some shit up. Like, that sort of thing should really be I think what Michael Bay should stick with. Because those Transformers never really did it for me and all that.
Yeah, we've talked about it. And
Yeah.
the Transformer franchise, you either like them or you don't.
Oh, yeah. And I don't.
And I do.
I know you do. I don't know why you do, but I know you do.
When I watch Transformers, I just kind of unplug
Yeah.
my brain from the rest of the world.
It's big, stupid fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like robots are cool.
Right. I want to watch some shit get fucked up. Right.
Yeah.
See some Autobots and shit. Yeah. No, I got you.
Man, we're getting way off topic.
Yeah, we are.
The way they end up in jail was through a gambling scene.
Pretty much.
So, what's Eddie Murphy's character's name?
Claude?
Claude. No,
Yes.
that's definitely not his name.
Is it Ray?
Claude is Martin.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ray.
so Ray. So Ray loses all his money in a poker game to a cheat. And he goes out to seek revenge. Not only does he lose his money, he loses his watch.
His dad's watch.
Which comes back later in the movie.
Yes.
And that kind of drives the whole scene. And they find the guy who cheated him and got the watch, but he dead.
He is dead.
And then we meet, well, I guess in this movie, the most terrible dude on the planet. That dirty-ass sheriff.
Oh, yeah, that guy's a real scumbag.
And then
What did he cut him with?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know if I
all we
missed
see
it.
is him swipe at him, and the dude's cheeks all bloody.
Like, fucked up.
Yeah, and that's it.
So Ray cuts his cheek.
Right.
They end up in jail. Wait.
The
No,
sheriff's,
Ray
sheriff's
didn't-
the one that
Ray
killed
didn't cut the sheriff.
the dude.
The gambler cut the sheriff.
Yeah, the gambler cut the sheriff in the face, and it left a scar there. And so then they go to jail, and it's the sheriff that wound up killing old dude, whatever the mob boss's name was, that took Ray's watch.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, then we find out that sure enough, the cop, he's like, oh, cool. You know, these are the guilty party. We can pawn this off on them.
Right. And then the whole movie goes through with a couple of failed escapes. Like I said, I wish I would have seen more of that.
Right. We got a long stretch in prison. This is like 65 years.
Yeah.
They could have done some fun shit with this, man. And watch them progressively get older and just keep failing. And like maybe they can't do as much physical stuff as they used to because their joints and shit are stiff. You know?
So the escapes get more ridiculous.
Right, yeah. And they start getting gutsier with it and shit like that, you know, trying to think it out instead of do physical. Something like that could have been awesome.
And there's a weird scene in the movie in the middle of the movie where Ray's telling the story about Ray's boom boom room, and you get to see the guys that he's in jail with in this scene.
Yeah, they're like living in this fantasy with him.
Okay, so that's a totally different tonal part of the movie than the rest of it too.
It really is.
Like it could have been a movie where like he told stories and they acted out the stories.
Yeah, there you go.
And that was like their escape from prison, kind of.
Right.
But nope.
Kind of like The Little Princess or something.
Yeah,
stupid
we
like
get
that.
one scene of that.
Yeah.
And I like that scene.
I liked it too. Getting to see him interact and have fun and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they were reluctant at first, you know. They thought it was stupid. And then, sure enough, they're living in this. Because guys are uneducated. They can only dream of stuff like this. You know.
Well,
They
Ray
can't
and Claude are the
read.
only people in the prison that can read.
Right. So they have to read everybody's letters, you know. And stuff.
That was a pretty funny scene. Where
Oh, yeah. That was fucking funny.
So there's another prisoner in there that he had a letter he'd been carrying around with him since Christmas, and it's sometime in the summer in this movie.
Yeah.
And so Ray was like, "You can't read? I'll read it for you." And basically, the dude's entire family's dead. That's what this letter is about. And he asked, "Does anybody else have a letter that wants me to read it to him?" And they're all like, "No."
No, we're good.
Yeah.
No. That dude that wanted his cornbread, that's a big, mean-looking motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
bro. He would fuck you up. But
didn't
that's
get his
followed by one of my personal favorite parts of the movie is whenever Eddie Murphy gets his ass whooped. And he's sitting back and he's like, he didn't get my cornbread, Claude.
Yep.
And so you're like, man, because I actually was watching this after prison show that's on YouTube. This guy did 7 years for possession in prison. And so anyway, he said that a lot of times whenever you go get your commissary and all this other stuff, these guys will follow you if you're new there. They'll come up and beat your ass. He said, you better put up a fight too. He said, because if you don't put up a fight, they're going to hit you up every time you go down there. So, you know, this was kind of that same thing. Is I might have got my fucking ass whooped, but he did not get my fucking cornbread.
Right.
He's not going to ask for it again. So,
Or we'll be out here again.
right. Because he was whooping his ass too a little bit.
He got some blows.
Yeah. I was surprised. I don't think of Eddie Murphy as much of a fighter, but, you know.
I'll tell you the funniest part of the movie for me
Y'all.
was so the ball player, we call him Can't Get Right.
Right.
He doesn't speak.
Doesn't talk at all.
He can hit the shit out of the ball.
And knock up women, too.
Well, and that's so him and this warden's daughter, who is a very pretty young lady,
She is very attractive.
happens to be white. They kind of have some eyes for each other, like instantly. It's like instant chemistry.
Yeah.
And the rest of the prisoners are
Once
always
again, he doesn't talk.
yeah. And the other prisoners are always telling Can't Be Right, like, you can't stare at her like that, man. You're gonna get us in some
Right.
trouble.
Yeah.
You're gonna get yourself killed, boy. You can't be staring at her like that, because he would just oogle her. and she would
stand there staring, not working, not doing shit.
and she would look right back.
Yeah.
And the prisoners saw this going on, but none of the prison staff or the warden saw any of this.
Right.
It was probably so out of question in their minds that they didn't even look
They
for
weren't
it.
concerned about it at all. Yeah.
But the short version of this story is he does knock her up. She does have a baby, and the wife, or I guess the woman who delivered the baby, and her mother, and the guy who delivered the baby, they all come out of the bedroom like looking like they just saw a ghost.
Yeah. And he's like, "Is it a boy or a girl?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a boy."
He's a biggin. So Dad goes into goes into her room and sees that it's a child of mixed race.
Cute little mulatto baby.
Oh, beautiful baby.
Yeah.
Beautiful baby. I'm a
Full head of hair.
I'm a firm believer in the reason why every generation of Americans keep getting hotter.
Yeah.
They just do. Men are getting better looking every generation.
That is true.
Women are getting better looking every generation, and I really do believe it's because we're mixing up all of our genes and our traits, and that's so we can have purebred anything.
Right.
Let's talk about dogs. Okay.
There you go.
If you have purebred dogs, they develop all kinds of health issues, and
Of course.
if you have them too purely bred. So Americans, because our culture is crazy it is right now, is so open to mixed race relationships and mixed cultured relationships.
Right.
I think they just keep getting better looking. So I always say like mixed babies are the prettiest babies. But besides the point, the warden comes out there with this mixed baby, and he's holding him up next to all the prisoners.
He's checking like the tone of their skin.
Like,
comparing
come
it.
on, man, that
Well,
baby's
that
half
baby's
your
half
daughter.
white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not gonna look like any of those guys.
Maybe he was just trying to catch the similarities of their face. I don't know.
I'm sure he was looking for features, but
Right.
all these dudes, by the way, standing in line, all have similar features.
Right.
So any one of them could have been the father.
Exactly.
And
we have the "I am Spartacus" moment.
Yeah,
in the movie,
yeah. He's like, I'm the father. I'm the father. I'm the father.
All the guys,
all
yeah.
the guys take turns saying I'm the father. But the payoff is Bernie Mac's jingling, stepping up and saying, "I be the pappy boss." Hilarious.
It was pretty funny. I like Bernie in this movie. Bernie Mac might be my favorite person in this movie, actually. So he is always just any scene that he's in, he's definitely drawing the attention.
Steals it.
Yeah. Conjugal visits are pretty cool. I
Yeah,
don't think you can do that nowadays. So yeah.
they still do them.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
I don't think all prisons do them,
Right.
but there are I think federal penitentiaries for the white collar criminals.
I see.
I think they still get conjugals.
Yeah. Like who's that dude that defrauded all that money on the stock market?
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, Madoff.
He didn't defraud the stock market. He defrauded his customers.
Fucking customers over. Yeah. Yeah. That foot chase where they escape and it's Ray and Claude and they're running through the woods or whatever. That was actually pretty exciting. I thought. Yeah.
I thought they had a shot, but then he got his prison garb caught on barbed wire.
Right. Fuck that garb.
Yeah, fucking rip that shit off.
Right. Exactly.
I think the use of the montage in this movie was actually used properly.
With they're jumping ahead in time or whatever. Yeah.
You're skipping through the years.
I could see that. And they show, events that were taking place around that time too, like the Vietnam, and shit like that.
I'm not always a fan of montages, but I kind of like this one.
It depends on what they're montaging, I guess. There's some that I like the Karate Kid. A good training montage is always, I think, awesome. Because I want to watch a concise deal where they get better in the span of maybe 2-3 minutes.
Yes.
Tops,
The movies in the 80s used them a lot.
A lot.
I remember growing up, there was a movie about a guy who wanted to be a high diver.
Okay.
And it was a montage of him. He built a scaffolding by his family's pool. And he would just do dives off this, and he was terrible.
Yeah.
But the montage was showing him getting better and better and better.
Sure.
And then there was another one where this guy wanted to be a gymnast.
Huh.
And he had a high bar set up in the woods.
Yeah.
And you would see him do these different tricks and stuff, and he kept failing until he was doing monster flips and stuff.
Right.
So they used to use montages a lot. Rocky, obviously,
Yeah.
huge montage. Every Rocky has a montage.
Yeah, there's always Rocky's kind of the gold standard for your montage, because I like to compare the Rocky montages just to see, in this one he's back to the gray sweatsuit again, this motherfucker, and all that shit. So that's always a good time.
My favorite probably my favorite montage of any movie is that Rocky 4 montage.
Yeah.
Where Rocky's training, old school style with the gray sweats on.
Sure.
Punching meat slabs, sides of beef and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Drago is just like hitting, he's like in a science lab with, different, what are those fucking things called? Leads. Like attached to him all over the place.
Right.
Monitoring all of his vitals.
Sure. I like too in that one because we get to see him doing shit in Russia, so he like find a big ass fucking log and start dragging it, and shit like that. It was pretty cool.
Have you seen Creed?
I've not. So I stopped watching those movies at Rocky 5. I haven't seen Rocky Balboa. I haven't seen Creed or Creed 2.
You gotta see the Creed series.
I've heard that those are all really good movies.
Both of them are really good, the Creed movies.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Creed 2, he fights Drago's son.
Drago's son,
Yeah.
I wonder if he's genetically enhanced as well, because I remember...
He's fucking massive.
Really?
The actor who plays Drago's kid is gigantic.
Huh. There you go. We still get some, what's his name in there, right? The dude that played Ivan.
Yo, he's there.
Yeah,
he's there.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, he's there.
That's who it is, yeah.
And so is Brigitte
He-Man.
Nelson.
Who is?
Brigitte Nelson.
Oh, really?
She played Drago's wife in 4. Yeah.
That's cool.
She's in it.
Awesome. I don't know where...
We got all the way there just because of montages.
Yeah. Those are always good, though.
You know what was sad for me?
What's that?
So the warden is retiring.
Yes.
The new warden shows up.
Yes.
And it's the fucker from earlier in the movie that threw these guys in jail in the first place.
Yes.
He's got the unmistakable scar on his face.
Of course.
And Ray's dad's watch.
And he pulls the watch out and plays the music and shit.
But it's early army.
Yeah, it is Arlie Ermy.
Arlie Ermy.
Yeah.
That's early army.
Early Army.
Arlie Ermy.
Boy, he'd be pissed if he heard you say that.
Yeah. And, of course, I love that actor.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he plays this racist piece of shit really fucks with me.
Yeah, he's a real turd in this movie. I do obviously, he does it well, Yeah. I got no complaints with his performance, but...
I feel like it wasn't a big
he's
stretch
been an
for
asshole.
him.
No. And that's not to say that he was a racist. I don't know anything about the guy, really, but yeah, he did pretty well, unfortunately. Well, it also could be, like in Sling Blade, where we got Dwight Yoakam playing a drunk redneck,
Like abuser.
Yeah, exactly. Like Eminem playing a rapper from Detroit,
Eminem is a rapper from Detroit.
Exactly. Way to step out of the box there, I said the old man makeup looks real bad, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It looks real bad. We've gotten a lot better, I think, about that sort of thing. If you watch that shit with Johnny Knoxville and stuff like that.
Oh, like Bad Grandpa?
Yeah. It looks pretty good nowadays. Actually.
Yeah, and if you watch Vice...
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
Not yet.
Those guys age throughout the movie, and it's incredible.
Oh, yeah. Well, think about it, too. What's the one with Gary Oldman where he plays Winston Churchill? All that's prosthetic, makeup and fat suits and, all that shit. And it looked great, man, Mm-hmm. We've really got to a point where we've almost perfected it. So
I feel like less is more.
I kind of
with
agree.
The aging faces.
A lot of time, what I thought was more convincing, and I know that you thought that it looked kind of funny, but I thought it was more convincing for Claude, or was it Claude, to have a beard. And so it was a deal where we don't have to do a whole lot of makeup stuff because we can just cover the fact that he's not 90 with this overgrown facial
with
hair.
the white beard.
Yeah. So that kind of worked for me, but we got Eddie Murphy and his big old lips that are just... He looks like he's having a really tough time even talking with all that makeup on his fucking face, So, I don't know. That's whatever.
So the scene where they're like in the... What's it called? Where they go to when they're older? What's that called? The infirmary?
Oh, the infirmary?
Yeah, they go to the infirmary and they're playing cards with some
Right.
younger guys.
Yep.
And one of them's doing blow.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
You didn't see where they were talking about, how that got in here? It was up someone's ass.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
So that scene, this movie could have been filled with that shit. Mm-hmm. With Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy just trashing people.
Kind of like The Bucket List with these two guys or something.
Yeah.
Where they're just bullshitting.
Just making
the
fun
whole
of people.
movie. Right. I agree. Give them a setting for a scene and just let them kind of play off each other, I think.
Yeah, but we didn't get
Just
much
do
of it.
just do like maybe a dozen different takes where it's just them fucking around and go with the best one. That's what they do in a lot of these Judd Apatow movies and shit like that. You know, like Knocked Up and whatever.
Which are all hilarious.
Yeah, really good. Just take the best one, man. I wrote down. I can kind of see why this tanked at the box office. It's got some serious shit going on, but it kind of wants to be funny, and this depiction of prison is so terribly unrealistic. So
it pretty sums up everything we've just said. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got. Oh, I just said I have a difficult time understanding what the point of the movie was.
What was the point of the movie?
I guess maybe to illustrate these guys'
friendship.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
I didn't really catch all that, though.
I think you're right because they even said it out loud.
Yeah.
There's a scene where they're standing on the bottles together.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ray won't shoot Claude at the request of the jailer.
Right.
So he has to stand on the bottles with him, and they talk, and they say at the end of that scene, man, friends.
I guess so. I just didn't think it was all that great, you know.
Well,
that's unfortunately it.
The end of the movie should have been where the warden shot the other warden.
Yeah.
And they got freed.
And they got, yeah, exactly. I agree. They tried to switch that up a little bit with him having a heart attack on the toilet. Mm-hmm. But I think that narratively that would have been a fine ending to the movie. You kind of got a Shawshank Redemption thing going.
And you could have got him right back at the Yankee game. Could have ended the same way.
Right. If anybody really cared that much about this movie, I would be interested to see like an edit where that basically you just combine those scenes and call it a day. So, I don't know.
Yeah, like the one warden tells the truth. He confessed that he set these guys up. He tried to kill them, so I shot them first. They're innocent. You got to let them go.
Right. Yeah.
And they get, they spent 40 years in prison wrongly convicted, and they go to the Yankee game.
Right. Yeah.
The end.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny at the end of the movie that they're like, Ray and Claude like cohabitate together, they're roommates, whatever.
Like it was a true story.
Yeah, and I was like, this isn't true, right? You're basically giving me this, happily ever after type tale about these two people that don't even exist.
That was odd.
That's fucking weird.
Like, we didn't need that.
Do that. Yeah. It would be different if it was, once again, intended as a pun or, they're going to do something fun with it, like at the end of like Anchorman or something like that, I feel like. But no, they just wanted to throw that in there, I guess.
Yeah. Really weird. I tell you, though, one thing I'm a sucker for, and they delivered blooper reels.
I do like blooper reels.
I fucking love blooper reels.
I'm kind of sad that those aren't as prominent as they used to be. Because I remember, like back in the day, watching Liar Liar, and the blooper reels were probably as funny as the movie was.
I'm a sucker for bloopers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's great.
I watch outtakes like on, there's someone who, he or she does a series of Friends outtakes.
Okay.
And they'll just post them on Facebook, whatever.
Right.
I'll watch every single one of those things.
There you go. They do that with, well, it's kind of different. They put, with The Office, they have deleted scenes that they put up. But on occasion, you'll get some bloopers. And it's always funny.
You know what I saw about The Office recently?
What's that?
Audition tapes for other people who...
Aren't they rebooting The Office?
No, but it was auditions for the original, like, U.S. version of The Office. And so, like, what's the dude from Knocked Up? What's his name?
Seth Rogen?
Yeah, Seth Rogen read for the part of...
Dwight?
Yeah, Dwight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he read for the part of Dwight. And you get to see, like, all these different actors that you know and have become, like, pretty famous since... But when they were auditioning for The Office, they weren't very well known.
Big deal at all.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad things worked out the way they did with Seth Rogen and Rainn Wilson.
Well, they show
all that shit.
Rainn Wilson audition for Dwight too in this series that I saw, and he was just knocked out the park.
Just killed it.
Yeah, he was the Dwight you see in the show. He was that at the audition.
Better than Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen looked like Seth Rogen,
just
trying to be Dwight. Yeah,
right. Yeah. No, I hear you. He definitely has a style, so it's whatever. What else you got regarding this movie, Mike?
Here's the thing with this movie for me, man. Are we gonna go ahead and just give our opinions?
Yes.
So, like, I appreciate the film. As a fan of both Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, I appreciate
Right.
that it was made. I wasn't mad that I watched it, but I just feel like it missed so many opportunities.
It had potential, which is really disappointing about it. I feel like it's just could have been so much better.
I would have even been okay if you had these two comedic geniuses playing very serious dramatic roles.
Oh yeah,
I'd have been okay with
totally fine with that because I'm sure that they both can act really well.
that. Well, and I mean, we watched Robin Williams. The second half of his career was very dramatic roles.
Right. Yes, it was.
So, and he's a legendary funny guy.
Right.
So we know that they're out there. Steve Carell.
Yeah. He does more of that, I think, nowadays than he does comedies, really.
He does.
Yeah.
Second half of his career has been really drama driven.
Right.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, I'm sure they could have done it. I have no questions they could have done that.
No.
So this movie could have either been, like I said earlier, holy shit, this is some deep stuff, or oh my god, I can't stop laughing. But it needed to decide what it wanted to be.
Neither one, though. I really don't care that much.
Yeah,
you know?
unfortunately,
Right.
I feel the same way.
And even so, say with this subject matter, I think a good comparison to make would be like, "Oh brother, where art thou?" Because around the same time period, you got these guys that escaped from prison, that sort of thing. And that movie's fucking hilarious. You know, it went full in on the comedy, and it totally paid off. Whereas this, kind of serious, kind of funny. At the end of the day, I really just don't care that much because the tone doesn't have any idea what it wants to be. You know.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think we kind of see eye to eye on this one.
Yep. Okay. For some reason, I was thinking you'd like this more than that, but
Like I said, I enjoy both of the leads.
yeah, I do too a lot.
And there was a couple times where I audibly laughed out loud.
Yeah.
You know, watching the movie, and there was a couple really sparks in this movie, but it just didn't.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Couldn't carry it.
And I've liked Martin Lawrence all the way since, his show back in the 90s. It was
Martin.
Yeah. That was the deal where I watched
Martin.
it a couple times and I was like, this is so dumb. And then I watched, finally got to appreciate it for what it was. And it was one of those that I didn't even proactively seek out, but I just ended up watching a ton of because it was great.
I watched tons of Martin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, tons of it. I love Brother Man, the guy that just hop in his apartment, start taking shit out of his fridge, shit like that.
What was the name of the girl that he played? Shaniqua.
No, it was. It might have been Shanika or something. Was it something Kwee? No, that was Mad TV.
No, I think you're right.
I don't remember.
Do you hear what they're doing downstairs right now?
Yeah, they're playing music.
They're playing Chocolate
super
Rain.
loud. Oh, really?
Chocolate Rain.
That's pretty hilarious.
I don't know if you guys listening can hear it, but
I doubt it.
Our
but
wives and our children are downstairs listening to the infamous Chocolate Rain.
Man,
viral
leave
YouTube
them
show.
alone for 45 minutes. It's just crazy down there. So yeah, this movie's alright. I mean, if you feel like you need to watch everything that either Martin Lawrence or Eddie Murphy's in, then it's fine. But I don't really. I'm probably never gonna watch it again. So one of those things.
Had you ever seen it before?
No, I know you said you had.
Yeah, I've seen it once or twice
Yeah.
back in the day.
Do you remember really liking it back then, or?
I think I felt the same as I do
Oh, really?
today. I think I was like, man, I wanted to really like this.
It's just fine.
Yeah, it's
You know?
okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing with like Dr. Dolittle is at least it was trying to be funny. It didn't necessarily always pull it off, but
Well, that's aimed at children.
a lot of jokes. Yeah, exactly. You have to really like talking, apes and shit like that to really appreciate Dr. Dolittle. So
I will tell you though, with Dr. Dolittle, when all the animals first start talking to him, it is pretty funny
there's some funny stuff
because the animals are saying funny shit.
right. The one-liners that the animals say is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like the penguins and shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Otherwise, that movie's trash too.
The rats.
So, yeah. The one has gas. It was so bad. Anyway, I got a bone to pick, Mike.
Oh,
So, were you tracking the new Star Wars movie trailer came out yesterday?
I did see that it was released. I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen the trailer. Well, this is a spoiler alert for everybody that hasn't seen the trailer yet. But they actually,
If you want to watch the trailer, pause the show and go watch the trailer right now.
right. Unfortunately, Mike doesn't have that option.
No, I don't
Because I'm
get
about
it.
to spoil the shit out of it. But.
It's okay. I'll watch the trailer afterwards.
Right. We see where Rey is on this planet, and there's this voiceover by Luke Skywalker. I'm assuming he's Force Ghost Luke Skywalker.
I know that she has no hair.
I don't know what's up with that.
She shaved her head.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Because
I seen a
she had
still of the
hair.
trailer, and it looks like she has a shaved head.
Oh, really? She Sigourney Weavered it, huh?
I don't know.
Sigourney Weaver did that for Alien 3.
I probably should have watched the trailer before I said that. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we get this voiceover from Luke Skywalker talking about how, you're the end of this bloodline, and you're the
She the last
legacy
Jedi?
forward and all this shit. Yeah, right, exactly. And so, anyway, the next thing we know is he says, after all, nobody's ever really dead, or nobody's ever really gone. And then we hear the Emperor laughing from Return of the Jedi. And you're like, are they bringing the Emperor back? Because they kind of wasted their opportunity. Once again, spoiler alert for The Last Jedi. They had an opportunity to have a really good villain with Snoke. And then they just kind of arbitrarily killed him off. And now it's almost like J.J. Abrams took back over the movie franchise. And he's like, fuck, we need a big bad guy now. Because we kind of got rid of the one. So let's just bring the Emperor back. But it kind of totally deflates the end of Return of the Jedi, though. You feel as though they didn't really accomplish anything because the Emperor's not been dead this whole time, So, I don't know, man. It's pretty weird. I'm not super impressed with the direction of Star Wars.
Well,
I'm a big griper, though, too. So,
well, you're a true Star Wars fan.
well, I mean, that's valid.
So I think the direction Disney's going with these current Star Wars films is they're really aiming at the younger audience that's probably not as familiar with the original franchise as you are.
Okay, that's valid. I will say this, too. So, they went through and killed off Han Solo. They killed off Luke Skywalker, and then Carrie Fisher died, so Princess Leia's out. And so now it's like, well, fuck, nobody cares about these new characters. So they're like, what's Billy D. Williams doing? Lando Calrissian, he can be back. We'll do him. Yeah, we'll get the Emperor going. We might throw some Yoda in there. We can still have people that these guys care about, So the whole thing seems kind of sloppy to me, I don't know, man. You would have thought that if Billy D. Williams was that big of a deal, having Lando show up, he would have done it before now.
Is he coming back?
Yeah.
It's in the trailer?
He's in the preview, yeah, in the trailer for it. So
Okay.
I guess he finally gets Millennium Falcon back after this whole time.
Because Han's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about that I've seen Solo, right? We talked about that on here?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
That movie, actually, I think I talked about this before, but I think a lot of people didn't go watch that because they had strong opinions about The Last Jedi. And so, unfortunately, Solo kind of got the brunt of their aggression. And I actually didn't hate Solo. I thought it was fine. I actually liked it way better than The Last Jedi.
I like the backstory a lot. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Well,
As a casual Star Wars fan.
right. And I think they changed a lot of stuff. Once again, I never read a lot of the books or anything.
Well, it made
But-
total sense as to why he, Lando, double-crossed Han.
Right.
They have a bad history,
Yeah,
man.
they do. They do. Well, he was kind of optionless too. I don't think that it was his desire to double cross Han, but he said that the Empire showed up and basically threatened him and the whole city. So he was like, I guess I'm stuck, pretty much. So, but there was that. I thought was decent. It showed the Kessel Run, but I was actually most impressed with seeing Darth Maul at the end of the movie. And from what I understand, they were actually going to do a Obi-Wan origin type story movie. And once again, just an anthology movie, kind of like Solo. But apparently Darth Maul was to appear in that. But since Solo flopped at the box office, that got canceled.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because I would love to see more Darth Maul. That's my one big gripe is people are like, man, Darth Maul was awesome. I'm like, no, he could have been awesome. He never was given a chance to be awesome, though, So
Yeah, he's a blink in the history of Star Wars. Yeah,
he doesn't. He has 2 lines in that movie that you cannot be awesome without any sort of character development.
I don't remember
Sorry.
him even talking.
He does a couple times,
Oh.
and in a couple weeks we're gonna find out what exactly he says. So
We are?
yeah, episode 1's coming up, buddy.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, mid-May is when we're doing that.
Oh, May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of sucks because it didn't come out on May 4th. It came out May 19th. So
Oh, wow.
we can still say
Yeah, May
May the
4th be with you?
Anyway, so there's that. I don't know. I'm not been super impressed with some of the outings that Disney's done with the Star Wars. I think that you were a little bit more warm to The Last Jedi than I was.
We saw that together, didn't we?
We saw it together, and then you said you heard that Kevin Smith thing, and you were like, I kind of see what he's talking about.
I mean, he did change my opinion a little bit, but I was not a fan.
Yeah.
You and I left that movie theater looking at each other like, what the fuck did we just watch?
We didn't even say anything. It was whenever we got in the car on the way back, and I was like, so what did you think? And you're like, I think it kind of sucked. I remember it verbatim, Then we got Subway, so I figured that out. But yeah, I don't think either one of us were super impressed at the time. The last I heard, though, is that you're a little bit more forgiving after listening to Kevin Smith. But
I mean, I got a soft spot for Kevin Smith, so what can I say?
I do too, but that wasn't very good. But we're going to go way more into that here in a couple of weeks whenever Star Wars comes up.
Wasn't Star Wars like number one for like a month?
Well, so The Mummy was number one for 2 weeks, and so that second week that Mummy was number one, we're gonna initiate something that me and Mike have talked about for a while. Why don't you elaborate a little bit for us, there, Mike?
Go ahead.
We're doing Star Wars month. We're going to take titles that are maybe indirectly related to Star Wars, or they're directly related to Star Wars, but they never were number one at the box office.
And
maybe they showed up on TV.
And what I'm most excited about is we have maybe some guest stars showing up.
Yeah, we got some people that are talking about making an appearance.
Some guest hosts,
right?
Yet to be heard on the show, but commented. We've said their names several times.
We have. Well, we got one coming up. So we actually had a plan next week where we were going to have a guest come on, and then whenever I was synchronizing schedules, I didn't realize that it was Easter and people are going to be doing stuff, and so me and Michael probably have to like give out a blowjob or something in order to be able to record, that sort of thing.
And I'm not giving out blowjobs.
No, it's not conducive to a good, time to have people on.
Blowing people on Easter is a sin.
Well, that is true. It is true.
I don't know.
And here we are. Jesus came back and he was Jewish and we're eating ham. So figure that one out.
Oh.
I don't know, man. But anyway, Easter's a weird one.
What are we watching next week?
Rabbits laying eggs and shit. So last time was your pick.
Wait, this movie's only number one for 1 week.
It was number one for 1 week, but then the Matrix jumped back up into the number one spot.
Oh, so Matrix came back.
Yeah. You picked the last one, Mike.
What was that? Bill and Ted's?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Okay.
And because I like both of those movies quite a bit, next week we're going to watch Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Round off that movie series.
Hell yeah. Why not?
I'm looking forward to it.
Why not?
Dude, you can't have Keanu Reeves and not talk about all of the shit,
Why not?
That's it. Next thing you know, we're going to be talking about, what was that
Speed.
one where they were the surfing?
Point Break.
Point Break, yeah. Probably not going to talk about that anytime soon.
I love that fucking movie, by the way.
If we're going to talk about Patrick Swayze, I'd rather talk about Ghost. I think there's a lot going on there.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse is a good, well, it's really not a good one, but it would be interesting to discuss, so I don't know.
We'll get there, I'm sure, someday.
We will get there. We are not short of movies to watch, so we got lots of stuff going on. If you guys have any suggestions as to other stuff that we could watch, you could email us. Our email address is cheesymovie@yahoo.com. You can check us out on, iTunes and Instagram and YouTube, wherever you get your podcast from. Casino Royale WCheese, all one word. Look us up on Facebook, Casino Royale with Cheese. Twitter, Casino Royale WCH. Nobody cares. Mike, why don't we talk about what's going on our YouTube page?
Dude, the most bizarre thing.
I'm gonna get an exact number here, but go ahead.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Oh, I'm getting it.
You really don't have to, but he's going to anyways. So when we first started this show 63 weeks ago, which is bizarre to me.
I believe it was 64.
Oh, 64 weeks ago.
Maybe 60. This is episode 65 right here. So
that we're recording?
Anyway, yes.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So anyways, we knew we were going to post it on a podcast formats. We knew we were going to put it out there anywhere you can find your podcasts. But Shane insisted on putting audio files on YouTube.
And I edit all the shit together, so it's a nice package that it's in. So,
But I thought that was crazy. I was like, who's going to listen on YouTube? Boy, was I wrong.
boy, was Mike wrong.
Because we literally get thousands of listens on our YouTube.
One video in particular, actually.
Which one was the big one?
It was Full Metal Jacket.
Okay.
Right now, it is up to 8.9 thousand views.
Almost 9,000 views.
Almost 9,000. But, okay, so just to put things into perspective a little bit, before that, our highest number of views that we had on YouTube was with Top Gun at 223 views. So this one took off like herpes, and I don't know why. But it's out of control right now.
I love it. I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah.
Keep listening and watching and all that good stuff, please. But
But try to give them more likes, because this one does not have that many.
you got to remember, folks, Shane and I started this just as a couple of guys who wanted to sit down and talk about movies. We're not famous people.
Our wives don't like talking about movies, so
Yeah.
we're like, we'll talk about it.
I was, everybody who listens knows I'm a giant fan of the Joe Rogan podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, and he had mentioned another friend of his that his advice for how to have a successful podcast is to be famous already.
Right. Step 1, become famous.
Yeah.
Step 2, make a podcast.
Right, because then you have a built-in following.
Of course.
Shane and I are neither famous or have a following. So for us to have some people actually listening and digesting what we're putting out there is awesome.
I feel like Walter Cronkite right now, my friend. So there you go. I don't know. Just that one video. I wonder if there's some sort of aggregation on YouTube where that just like was a suggested video for a lot of people or something. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I'm not going to pretend to know.
No. A lot of hate towards it, but you know.
Haters gonna hate.
I'll take it. A lot of the shade throwing. There was somebody that, let me read. There's been a couple of comments.
You're not supposed to read the comments. That's the thing I heard. Number one thing. Don't read the comments.
I really don't care that much. One person commented PENIPUAN, Penny Pawan.
Okay.
With an ellipses. And then there was another comment that said, your video sucks. And I commented, I said, fine, you are deducted 50 shroot bucks.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Took a shrewd bucks.
I didn't want to have to go there, but shit gets serious, man. So,
but if you're out there listening or watching YouTube, thanks.
yeah, that's cool. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, you made my cool list. And make sure that if you think that our content is good, that you tell everybody you know, so that me and Mike can make this a career and we never have to work again.
That's not going to happen, but we're going to keep making them.
Right? We'll have, freaking, what's their names? Have you seen those ads for like that bed that supposedly has 700 tiny mattresses?
Casper mattresses?
No, this one's different. There's a chick that's like this American Ninja Warrior chick that's on there. She's super cute too.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they can give us checks for our advertisement.
Hey, we're not getting any money for
I don't
this.
think that anybody would really care.
But
you
good
know.
news is, I just found out I've been extended. I will be in Oklahoma for another year at least.
Yeah.
So no South Korea for me.
So that was kind of we hadn't elaborated too much on that. However, apparently that was a bit of concern there for a minute because Mike was going to have to go to South Korea, at which time who the fuck knows what our schedules would look like together. So I was
They would
going to
never
have
work.
Cook like sit in for us, stuff like that.
It would never work.
No, it would be rough. So, but Mike will not be patrolling the 38th parallel. So
Not today.
not today. Not anytime soon, fortunately.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts, Mike.
I just have fun doing this.
Yeah, me and you both. I was just joking about the money thing. We're never going to make $1 off of this, but
No.
that's fine.
But if you want to, we're accepting checks.
Yeah, you can put a big old fat stack of wing wangs in the mail to us.
We don't even have a Patreon or anything like that.
Patreon? Yeah, no, we don't.
So it's all good.
Really, all it's costing at this point is time. Mike's paying for the iTunes thing, which I need to compensate him for, but whatever.
It's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, next week, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yeah.
Rounding out that series.
We're going to hang out with the Grim Reaper.
Yeah. Don't fear the Reaper, dude. Ooh. And make sure that you tell everybody that loves Bill and Ted how much you enjoy this and how awesome it's going to be. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
I'll be back.